everyone has a zero somewhere, right? I remember for me personally in like school and stuff, my zero was, I don't remember what it was, but it was generally like in high school and stuff, it was like $500. Mm-hmm. It's like, cool. If I have $500, then I'm good. But like
anything below that,
I'm like, sheesh, I'm broke.
Yes.
So it's like people be like, oh, you got money. It's like, no, I'm broke. I only got $550. I only got $50. I got $550 in the bank, but I only got 50 in my mind.
That was huge.
You know, you talk to people that are multimillionaires, and now you can extrapolate that same thing because their zero might be $1 million.
I can't be a millionaire if I don't if I have anything less than $1 million. So
right.
I can't give out if I want to remain a millionaire. You ask to borrow $1, and I only have $1 million to my name.
Then I'm not a millionaire.
I can't give you $1 million. I can't give you $1.
Exactly.
Because $1 million is my zero.
Yeah.
And that's just like extrapolated over a long term. You might think that they're lying, but they're like, I don't have any money to give. Yeah. If I give this, then I'm compromising my zero.
You're listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. It's about time that we invest more in our financial literacy and work towards building generational wealth. If you think you're ready to do the same, then you've come to the right place. Alex, Marlon, y'all ready? Let's get this bread.
What's good, everybody? It's Alex Kamunya here, and we are back with episode 128 of the Money Monopolizers podcast. And I'm here with my co-host, Marlon Walls. Marlon, how you doing today, bro?
I'm just really grateful for life, man, to be honest. Like, I really don't have too many complaints. Like, that's really how I'm doing, just to answer your straight-up question.
Grateful.
I'm very, very grateful just for everything going on in life. Just really grateful. Also grateful for good health.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's one thing we always say, like, in our Tuesday calls, like, good health, talking about that. But, no, I'm really grateful just to be in the condition that I'm in, being able to just, like, fit, healthy body, everything. So I'm just grateful for life. Like, that's really how I'm doing.
I heard you don't work out anymore.
No, that's not true. Now, I will say it did slow down for a while too, just because of just grinding everything within the business and everything like that. But trying to make modifications to doing more home workouts. But I did actually go a couple times this week though. So
to the gym?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was proud of myself.
Wow.
So I'm trying to. I'm going to have to change my strategy and like what time I start work throughout the day.
What made you want to actually go to the physical gym this week?
That's because I get more workout. I get more benefit from going to actual gym versus
like in terms of the workout is better?
Yes. Like, I don't want to just do push-ups and sit-ups. Like,
that's what you were doing for the last few weeks.
Exactly. I would do multiple types of ab workouts.
This is the only reason I brought this up is because like it was whenever you said that you had not been going to the gym, that was like really like crazy to me. Not that it was like like it's the end of the world, but it was just because like literally since I've known you
that's very true.
I've literally never like we've always worked out in the gym like multiple times a week. Every week I've known you since we were 12 years old. That
is crazy, dude. How you think about it?
So whenever you said that in our call on Tuesday, I was just like, sheesh, that boy then just gave it up.
No, I definitely wasn't giving it up because one thing. Yeah. That's why I say that's where the gratefulness part came from, because I would look at my body in the mirror and I'm like, thank you, God, because anybody else might look very different after not going a few weeks without like.
Oh, it was a few weeks.
Oh yeah, it's been a few.
Before
weeks.
Since you had went,
like going into the gym, because I would like do like push-ups every night, like in my in the house and stuff.
Jeez.
But as far as like going to the gym, I'm like,
that boy
had to make time.
That boy was probably weighing 145.
Nah, that's the crazy thing about it too. I don't get fat. I actually get skinny.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That is the crazy thing about it. Like, me not working out actually makes me skinny. And
but isn't that
rather than getting fat?
I mean, isn't that what it should be? If you have a lot of muscle, though. So because think about other people. Like, if you sit in the house all day, couch potato, not really. How many
working in the bit? Like,
how many swole people or athletic build people like stop working out and then get fat immediately? I feel like you would lose all your muscle first, shrivel out. And then you'll get fat, or you'll get like skinny fat if you have a high metabolism.
I got a couple of names. I don't want to point nobody out. I've seen it.
I want to know who you're talking about
because we'll talk offline about it. I would say that's actually more common. I don't know which one's more common, to be honest. That's just throwing out random statistics.
No, because it's like, to me, they call it atrophy. Like, your muscles atrophy. I say atrophy. Right. Your muscles atrophy, where it's like you stop using them.
You skinny out first and then fatten up after.
Yeah, so you stop using your muscles, they get smaller, and then you put on fat because now you're just, being a lazy bum and you're eating
not a lazy bum.
chips and, all this garbage food, but you're not burning it off. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I thought of it. But
I mean, yeah, the muscles.
But you were losing weight.
I really haven't lost no weight.
Oh, you hadn't
like,
lost weight. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. My body has stayed very consistent.
How much do you weigh right now?
Still 191. It's the same. Nothing changes.
Strength still there?
Yes, I was very proud of myself. I was like,
what did you do, bench?
I did bench. Then I did squat another day, but the bench I did that one, and I still put on 225. Still was repping my 5. I'm like, thank you, God, because I don't think I even deserve to be able to do that right now. But the fact that I was still able to rep it out with no issue, that made me very grateful just to be in the body that I'm in, the position that I'm in, able to focus on the business and still come back and no strength is really a loss.
But I think that the reason that happens is because like you got to do it because you built it up for 12 years.
Yes,
it's like a few weeks ain't enough to just be like, all right, I'm out.
I think that's huge.
Like they'd be like, oh, yo, what's this? Like the muscles like, yo, what's this dude doing? But we gonna stick around for a minute because
that's what I'm thinking like that too. I'm like, it's only so much time that it's gonna be like that.
They're not gonna stay forever,
right? And so, especially as I get older, like you're more removed from when you were doing it intensely,
right?
Because back years before now, we were just going so intense with it that you built up some reserves now, and so you can go a couple weeks, maybe even go a couple months, but at some point you will start seeing the effects. So that was been my perspective. Like I need to find a way to build that into my schedule. I have an idea. I'm gonna have to just start working later and probably end later as well. Because I need to do it after the morning meetup, essentially.
So you want to go in the morning?
Yes, I can't do it in the evening.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Why don't you go before?
Then I'll have to wake up at 4, and then I'll have to go to bed at before 1 because I usually go to bed between 12 and 1, and I'm not going to go off 3 hours of sleep. So
no, you need to sleep.
Yeah,
you need at least six. I would say 7 hours. But I know you're not getting that either.
So,
yeah,
but possibly though, because we're building out the systems and we're building out people in the business, but it's really gonna be more so on all the admin side, not even like the car managers. It's really like all the other stuff that I do, and just like building up stuff. I think it's a lot of building right now, which makes it take time. But once things get automated, and it's like things are like people are in position to run everything in the business, then it won't be as too much of a time demand for me.
Right.
But in the meantime, though, it's more so putting it into my schedule and doing it, and then everything else falling in after the fact.
But yeah. Anyways,
how you doing overall?
I was gonna skip it, but I'm doing well. Everything is going well. Business is well. We'll talk about that, of course. But overall, life is good, and I'm just blessed. I was really thinking about something earlier. I was because I don't know. I was in the shower and I was just thinking like,
that's the best place to think.
Yeah, shower thoughts, bro.
Yes, sir.
I really am finna buy like a little whiteboard for my shower, like a suction cup one. But anyways, and I was thinking like, because I was listening to this podcast or something, and someone had like mentioned something, and it made me think. I'm gonna cut to it, but it pretty much made me think like, do you think people actually reach their full potential? Like, what percentage of people do you think actually reach their full potential in life before they die? If you had to like put a number, what percentage of people do you think reach it?
Man, do you know how much full potential is?
Yeah, just in the sense of like, okay, I've accomplished like, it doesn't even if you necessarily say like, okay, I did something great, but just like which great is relative, but like it doesn't need to be something where it's like I'm famous or I made $100 million or $1 billion. How many people do you think like die and say like, yeah, I've reached my full potential?
Would honestly say less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1% actually reach that full potential. Like I don't know what that number is. It's just very low because life is like I've always heard that saying the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Reason being is because people always have great ideas. People always have great things that they like a whole plans on creating millions that they never actually implement.
Not even money though.
It don't have to be money, but they have grand ideas for like how to make the world a better place, how to make their life a better life. But they're always too afraid to get started. They feel like they don't have the resources. They make excuses or any majority of different reasons why. But a lot of people are not going to even people that have achieved a massive level of success. I think that they will still say there's more that they could do. They just choose not to.
Right. In
a lot of situations. So when you say fullest potential, like I believe that you are capable of achieving just about anything that you want to out of life. So,
but that's such a tough thing because it's like you can be satisfied, but it's like, damn, did I actually reach my full potential?
Right.
Like I'm just like financially, physically, like spiritually, whatever. Did I reach my full potential? Like what does it take to get to a point where it's like I've reached my full potential? I don't even know if that's possible.
I really don't think. That's why I say it's probably less than 0.1% because it is. I don't believe it. I don't know how many people reach that.
I would say 0.
Yeah,
like 0% of people. I don't think anyone like And I was just like, man, I think the goal should be to unlock as much as possible, like to keep pushing towards figuring out like what is my full potential. And the reason I want to bring that up was just because like I was like I saw something the other day. Was like I was seeing like some fans at like a sporting event or something. And it was just like going crazy. And it was just like, I don't know, the whole concept. I've kind of like chilled out on like watching sports and stuff over the last couple years. Like, as you know, like we talked about this, I think even on an episode, but it was like somewhere it's like, it's just weird to me like to spend my time like watching these people that like are achieving their potential and fulfilling their dreams and like spending so much of their, like they're unlocking their full potential. They're trying to get there. It might not even, just because they're famous or as celebrities or athletes doesn't mean they've got there. They could be less than a regular person, but still a lot of people fantasize that, idealize that, and like they spend so much of their, like there's Sundays during the NFL, like people literally wake up,
that's the whole,
and then you go to bed,
that's it,
and you watch football all day. Bro, you just watch these grown men just literally, these dudes are living their dreams. You watch them live their dreams on the couch all day.
That's what entertainment is for.
Is that like, you don't feel nothing about that? It's just like, I mean, it's like, bro, it's just crazy because I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't know. I can't. It kind of made me like turned off to kind of like watching. I'm not opposed to sports. It's just like watching it and like being a fan, a fanatic. Like some of these people are literally like, makes me want to get rid of some of my like Lakers gear. Cause it's just like, why am I wearing this man's jersey?
This is a hard conversation because when you say full potential, I also think that is relative to what area of life you're talking about.
100%.
Because there is so many areas that whenever you go into any type of area of life, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's I don't know, health wise, you're giving time, energy, and effort into that particular one. That doesn't mean everything was growing with it. Like us putting time into the business. That means that you look at a sporting event, you like who's that new guy? Because you can't put time into every single place, at least not at the same time. So you may give out full effort into one area, and you can say you quote unquote achieve full potential in that one area, and you still may not even achieve it in that area, even if you do give your full potential, a full effort.
But I think in that regard, it's about not even about potential, it's about what like chasing your dreams, going after your dreams. Then now it's like cool. Different. People will spend all this time watching other people chase their dreams, go after their dreams. You'll spend all this time and to go to people's, and I get it's entertainment for you, so somewhat it benefits you. But like, do you not, as a part of you, not want to fulfill your own? Like, you're not even working towards your own thing. You're spending all this time working towards and just being entertained. And it's just like, I have nothing against like being entertained, but like all the time you spending a whole day on entertainment. These people already accomplished what their dreams were. They're chilling for the most part. Like, you are the one that is like still trying to get something. So I don't know.
A lot of people get their fulfillment through seeing somebody else succeed.
That is true too. Because people like to associate with winners.
Exactly. That's why people are like diehard fans of like a great sports team, because they feel like they are accomplishing something because somebody else accomplished something. But in reality, if you look at it, they're not really accomplishing much, but they get that fulfillment from watching the other person. Yeah. And so to answer your question, they don't feel that they need to go do more because they got their fulfillment from that, the other from watching that team or watching whatever entertainment that they were watching.
Wow, and that's crazy.
If you don't get fulfillment from that, then yes, now you may feel that void of, I need to go do something more for myself because I can't let nobody else is fulfilling me feeling like I've accomplished something.
And I think that at that point you have to ask yourself, what is your actual like. I think a lot of those people, they don't have any aspirations.
That was what I was going to hit on too. That is perfect.
You don't have any goals or ambitions at that point because, like, correct. If you did, you would not be satisfied or fulfilled from watching this. Like, I could not be fulfilled, like, after a day of watching football or basketball or something. It's like, I would feel like, I hate to say it, but like a bum. Me personally, I'm not saying if you do, you're a bum, but me personally, I would feel like a bum because I don't feel fulfilled at all. And it's just, if you feel fulfilled, cool. I mean, go figure. But like, that's on you. But me personally, I would be like, nah, because I know outside of this, I have so much I'm trying to accomplish that like this ain't doing it for me.
Yeah, that goes back to just having a vision for your life, because you can't get that no matter how many games you watch. You ain't gonna get a dime of what they are making.
No.
So knowing that, it's like if you have a dream for your life and it's gonna require you to have a certain level of income to live it, then you can't get all your fulfillment from watching somebody else live out their dream. You have to go put in some work to get to your dream. But if you don't have that dream, then you probably will get fulfillment from them.
Yeah.
So it starts off with like, what do you want out of life?
Yeah, that's the question people gotta really ask themselves. So, but yeah, that was just something I thought of, and I was just thinking about that earlier, and it was like, man, it makes me want to burn all my jerseys.
Hey, man, I'm fulfilled from none of this.
I'm like, why am I repping you? I need to wear my own jersey.
Yep, get an Alex Camuno jersey made. And start getting sales on them.
Facts. So, but yeah, what we'll do now is transition to our first segment, which will be our business updates, and then we'll get into the show.
It's time. I guess I got my swagger back. Keep them posted.
Almost the end of Q1 now at this point. How have things been for you in business, and what is it looking like moving forward?
So I mentioned last time that we were getting the new cars coming in. That was like 7 cars came in within the last week. That was insane.
What are you forgetting?
Yo, I'm gonna get it one of these times. God dang, bro. Hey everyone, my name is Marlon. Now, for anybody who is new, I know y'all are dying laughing. Anybody that's like old head, but anybody that's new, y'all are just confused. Go watch previous episodes to know what we were talking about. So just to give y'all a brief overview about my business, I am in a rental car business. Got started back in August 2020 with my dad. We started off with 1 vehicle, and our goal has been to continue to grow our fleet. We actually got to 12 total vehicles last year, and then this year we're looking to scale over to more than 100 vehicles, looking to pretty much monopolize this entire industry and just pretty much make it a sellable based business. That's been our goal, and we are definitely tracking in that direction now. So last week we talked about the fact that I was able to bring in 7 more cars into the fleet, and now we're actually one thing I've learned from this entire experience of like trying to acquire more vehicles is the power of telling everybody what you do. Because it's crazy how things just start falling into place after you continue to do it enough times. Like you tell enough people what you do, and all of a sudden you can start getting referrals from people that wouldn't even have been able to help you individually. Like they ain't having any help for you, but they have somebody that they know or that reached out to them, and they were the first person that you were the first person that they thought about when that time came. So what happened for us? My dad had actually went to go drop off one of the cars at the airport. And we have been telling the airport, the worker at the parking lot, we were telling them, hey, we're looking to really expand our fleet this year. We're trying to do like 100 cars. And he's like, okay, cool. Like we got some other people that work in Turo. I'll let them know. They tell a person that is at the park that works that goes to the parking lot to do drop offs too. That person actually was like in a Facebook group. I'm just showing you how far removed this is now.
Yeah.
That person's in a Facebook group and just so happens to get reached out to by somebody that lives in New Jersey. That person that lives in New Jersey reaches out to that person they were in the Facebook group and saying, hey, I got like a whole fleet of like Corollas. Like I just got a whole bunch of cars. Like it's more than just Corollas, but I got like a fleet of like 50 cars, and I'm just trying to offload them. And they're like in New Jersey, Atlanta, and like Orlando. I'm trying to offload some of the ones that are up north. He said, would you be interested? Like, would you be able to help me out? He was like, hey man, listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not your guy. The dude probably been on the on Turo for like a few months. But he thought about us because the airport manager, the car lot manager, referred him to us. He just so happened to see my dad walking. It's like, hey, I heard about you, man. Like I heard about you from the car from the airport manager guy, and he pretty much recommended that we reach out to this guy. So we're actually having a conversation with him after this when I'm driving back today.
Oh, really?
With the guy that's in New Jersey. Yes.
Nice.
And like I said, he has a whole fleet of like easily over 50 cars.
Yeah.
And he's looking to offload all the ones that are up north.
Like sell them?
No, like to have somebody else run them.
Oh, like he wants to partner on them.
Correct. And so like I said, that's just the power of telling everybody what you do, because that's like 3 degrees removed from me telling somebody, because they can tell somebody who can tell somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's the opportunity that comes about from doing that.
Yeah.
And you just never know who you can tell something to that's going to lead to that type of domino effect.
Yeah, man. And I think that goes back to, a lot of people will say that was luck, but it's never luck. It might look like luck on the surface level, something like that, where if you were to, partner and get, a part of that fleet, you're like, dang, that's lucky. You found a guy out in New Jersey? Like, no, I didn't. I just told people what I did. And that is what I did to put myself in a position to get lucky.
And I'll tell you why it's not lucky, because what the people don't see is how many people did I have to tell about what I do in order to get to that one person who knew 3 degrees removed, that 3 degree removed person.
Yeah, because a lot of other people you told it was useless for you.
Exactly. How many people have I told and they just say, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Or even inquired but never actually sent anything. Because we've had many, many, many conversations with people and we haven't really reaped any benefit from it. So that's why it's not quote unquote lucky. Yeah.
Especially, if you tell people it's like, hey, this is what I do, when you meet them, this is not, you become that person for that specific thing. You become that go-to person for that specific thing, especially if it's a niche thing. Like if I meet a random person and I tell them, I own a fleet of rental cars, that's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
So if someone talks to them,
knows that,
does that. If someone talks to them about something like that, they're like, oh, I know a guy that does that. They're literally only going to know one person that does that. Right. That's such a niche thing. And I think that's a good lesson for whatever it is you do. Like, even if you're a real estate investor, not even telling people, oh, I'm a real estate investor. It's like, no, tell them, what do you do? Right. I rent, quote unquote, I do Section 8 housing in this neighborhood. I flip houses between this amount and this amount in this neighborhood. Like, tell people specifically what you do. And, I think that will go a long way, because people will remember it more so even whenever you're more specific about it. And you are, dang, that light is frying me. And when you are, telling them something like that, instead of just being super, just general about it. But regardless, tell people what you do. So I think that's a great lesson, or a great takeaway from that.
So everything otherwise in the business has been good. We're seeing massive growth, and we're just looking to really start expanding our team more than anything else. That's like the main thing that we are going to be focused on ending this quarter out. Yeah. So it's just all about acquiring more people. We're actually going to be doing more in person, like just trying to go meet people, probably like whether it's in like valets, whether it's in other car lot companies and stuff like that. We're just going to be very hands-on as far as the acquisition of new employees, not really employees, but more like contractors. Like, that's our main focus at this point.
Nice.
But yeah, that's me. How everything been for you in business?
It's been good for me. So now the biggest thing I'm really focused on in the business, for those that don't know, I'm in the cleaning business. I have a cleaning business that I started in August of 2020, and in last year made $400,000 in revenue in the business, and looking to scale that to at least $1 million this year. And a lot of that is, going to come through residential and additionally commercial cleaning. And right now I'm kind of in a place where I'm just going to be focusing, now that I'm out of the day-to-day of the business, which y'all hear me say a lot now every week, I'm more so focused on the, this thing is annoying me. I'm more so focused on the, what's it called? Growing the business without me involved in the day-to-day. So it's like, it's one thing to be involved in the day-to-day of the business, but now I want the business to continue to grow without me inside of the, without me involved in the day-to-day. So that's kind of where I am, just setting up those systems. Really, I already had a system set up for that. It's just now about to be training my staff and bringing on probably a couple more staff members, just so that the people I have, I can essentially promote them to now do more of the managerial stuff, and it also expanding the business more so. So interviewing new contractors, new cleaners, and then also some of the stuff with new locations. And then the new people we bring on, they'll be able to train the new people. So now that's the best thing. If I don't even have to train the new people because they've been doing it, they can at least train the new people in what they've been doing. And I can kind of,
because they're more hands-on, so they know like what's been going on a little bit more. That's how you start getting way more removed from the business altogether, because now you have people training people.
Exactly, because I already have the systems. It's not like they're training them based off of what's in their head. They're training them based off what they use to learn it too. The systems that are in place. So now that's going to just pretty much take me to the next level, into the sense of like, cool, now I have additional resources in growing the business. It's one thing to have resources in the day-to-day that'll keep you operating, but to have resources and growth. That's why like having C-suite executives and those kinds of things in the business is so important, because those people are going to be focused on growth. So that's resources that's focused on growth, like having another CEO, having vice presidents and all. Man, bro, what's up with this lighting, bro?
No,
this stuff is
cooked. Just
it's bad. But having additional people involved in those things will definitely help a lot. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now.
Not sure how far this question will make this conversation stem, but I think this is important. When it comes to promoting somebody in the business, they're pretty much being promoted from something that they have already know how to do. Like as far as operating in the business, or like doing, that's probably what they signed up for originally. Yeah. Now you're actually moving into a managerial role where they are no longer responsible for just like the actual grunt physical labor, but they're more so responsible for overseeing somebody else and managing people. So now you have to have a conversation about are they fit to do it, and also do they want to do that? Right. And do you have that conversation beforehand, before you move somebody up, or like is that something that you have early on before they even come in? Like you see them as at a bigger role, and they actually invite that in general.
I think it's something where I'm going to tell them like, hey, I want to move you up and do these kinds of things. And I think generally, my staff, they would be fine with that. I don't see them like having any opposition to that. I haven't necessarily had that conversation with them, just in the sense of like, hey, I want you to do this instead, because it hasn't just been something I've even thought of more so. Right. So I don't think that is, a huge conversation to have for me personally in my business. I think depending on the business, it could be like because to me, what they're going to be doing is not too much different. I mean, it'll be different in the sense of like, they're going to be doing a different thing, but they're still dealing with people. Mm-hmm. And that's like what I hired you for. Okay. I hired you for dealing with people, regardless of what level. I don't even have to put the name manager on what I'm going to give you. It could just be, level 2 of whatever you already. Yeah, that's kind of how things are going. So what we'll do now is get into our episode. Before we do that, though, I do want to say we are still doing that review challenge, huh?
I was just saying you made it like you remember.
Oh, yeah. So we're still doing a review challenge to get us 300 reviews by May 2nd. So we're pushing there, and I think we're going to get it. But I need y'all to go to leave reviews. When this releases, I don't know how many we'll have, but I'm pretty sure it will still be below 300. So
I just need just a few of y'all too.
Yeah, and not even a lot. Just need, last time we did it, it was 17. So just need probably like 10 now. So we're pushing there. So definitely get us to 300, and we'd appreciate that. That helps us on the Apple charts, and also helps my ego. So what we'll do now is transition into our episode, and we'll kind of get things going. One thing that I think we try to make sure that we're doing episodes and talking about things and teaching things that are applicable to all types of audiences, right? And I think a lot of people are new to the show. They're new to entrepreneurship. They're new to financial freedom. And one thing that many people, I think, is a very foundational principle to financial freedom, or there's a lot of foundational principles, but I think one of the most important is the pay yourself first principle, right? In the sense that, a lot of people, number one, a lot of people don't even know what this is, but a lot of people intuitively don't do this, right? And so it's important, because if you want financial freedom, you have to learn how to start doing this, right? And so generally, what is pay yourself first? So pay yourself first is essentially this concept to where if any money I receive, before I pay anyone else, I set aside some for myself before anyone gets it, right? When I get money from a paycheck, when I get money from, a gift, when I get money anywhere, before any of it goes anywhere else, I set some aside for myself. This applies in your personal life, and this applies to your business. Yep. We talked about it in the business aspect with episode 120 when we did profit first. So that was the application then. We haven't talked about this in the personal sense for a while, and I think a lot of like newer people, this applies to everyone, or a lot of people, because a lot of people don't do this anyways. But I think it's a good principle for a lot of people to follow and understand, because it's going to really help you, number one, achieve financial freedom, and continue to be able to save to invest, or all these other things, right? So like I said, any money that you get from anywhere, some of it needs to be putting away. So whenever we had started on this journey of financial freedom, one thing that we really wanted to do was house hack. And in order to house hack, obviously, you buy a property, you needed to be able to put some money down and also have money for closing costs, right? And so when we graduated, we had a job. We were putting away, I don't know, 70, 80% of our paychecks at that time, just because, you know, a lot of that was getting paid to us first. So before we'll pay our bills, before AT&T got paid, before my rent got paid, before, you know, any insurance got paid, Progressive, any company, before Walmart got paid money for their groceries, I got paid first. I set aside some money from my paycheck to make sure that I was paying myself first, because I knew then I would be taken care of. Everyone else, they gonna figure it out. All them other companies, they gonna figure it out. All my other bills, they gonna figure it out. And it's not to say you don't pay your bills, but the problem is what most people do is that they'll get paid, pay all their bills, and then pay themselves on what's left. Right. When in reality, there's barely anything left. And so you're gonna see what's left, and it's like, dang, it's only $20 left. I might as well go spend this too. But had you, let's say you made, you know, $2,000 on a paycheck, if you pay all your bills, you have, you know, $50 left, and you spent $19.50 on bills. That $50, you're more than likely not going to save it. But if you pay your bills, if you get paid and then you set aside, I don't know, $200 immediately out of that paycheck, you're going to figure out a way to make your bills work on that $1,800 that's left. And so that's why this really works. It's because it's really, you know, when you prioritize yourself, you start figuring out what else you actually don't really even need too. So it's like, cool, I might actually not need this. I might not actually have to buy this. And there's less discretionary spending that's going to happen. So, and again, this is not even a concept about like personal finance, financial literacy. I try to avoid those kind of topics because I think it's very surface level. Everything we talk about is for financial freedom. Yeah. So you're not just putting money aside just to save for whatever, just to say you're saving. You're doing this for a purpose, right? Whether it's to buy a course that you want to start to, that you want to, you know, purchase. Maybe you're trying to buy a, you know, $1,000 course to start this business or learn this skill or whatever, right? You're putting money away aside for that. Maybe you want to actually invest into your business. You're putting money aside away for that. Maybe you want to save for a down payment on a property. That's why this works. Is because now you're considering the same way you want to pay all these other companies, you're considering yourself one of these companies that needs to get paid. You're going to make sure all of them get paid. Why not make sure you don't get paid? Why? You need to make sure that you are getting paid too. Many people, you want to pay everyone else, but you don't pay yourself at all. You pay yourself absolutely nothing. What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense at all. Why are you not prioritizing yourself? So that is the foundation of kind of what I wanted to get into today.
Yeah, no, and I think you really brought it back home when you talk about like the foundation of like why this is important, because a lot of people, they don't see like having extra money as something that they need. I think at the fundamental level, they're not paying themselves anything because of the fact that if they have money in their account, they just think that that's something that they should just go ahead and spend because they haven't made a plan for achieving financial freedom. So if financial freedom is the plan, now you have to figure out how to get, or it's the goal. Now you have to figure out what's the plan to get there. And so you can't operate like everybody else of just spending everything that you make if you want to achieve financial freedom. Because the first step for us, like you said, was lowering our monthly expenses. And to do that, what we did was house hack. We talked about that much more in depth on episode 120. But in order to get to house hacking, we first had to.
Was it 120?
I don't know what you said at 120.
No, so that was a Profit First episode.
Shoot, my bad. So
yeah,
what episode? One of these 120s was.
I think it was 122. I don't remember.
Yes, so it was 122. We talked about on episode 122 about house hacking, and in order to get there, we had to first set aside income in order to be able to afford that. And most people, they actually have. So this is a whole concept of like, what is your zero? So when I say what's your zero, like what number are you most comfortable being at in your bank account? I'm gonna show you a very practical example. My sister, she was given like $20. No, she was getting like $40. Giving like $40 to go shopping for like one of her friends for like a holiday or something. Like she was going holiday shopping. She bought a shirt that cost like $25. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like 25 plus tax, like 27. She spent that money. So now she has $13 left. So she can do it. She has options right now. She can save that $13 for herself and be like, okay, I'm about to build me a stash. Probably what I would have done. But she was like, okay, I'm hungry. Let's go get some food in the food court. We went over to the food court. She thought she was going to spend her money. I actually bought it for her. And so now she got food for free. She says $13. Now what do you do? We just as we're walking out, she's like, "Hold on, I still got some money left. I want to go spend it somewhere." I said, "Yo, I just bought that food for you so you can have extra money left over." But this shows you the philosophy, the mindset of people in general, though, because they are most comfortable at being at zero.
Yeah.
That's why they will spend everything that they make in order to get back to zero. So if they have extra spending money, like you said earlier, if they have like an extra remaining $20 bill after paying all their other bills, they're going to just spend that on whatever, just some miscellaneous spending. So they never are able to get to that scale point of being able to achieve financial freedom because they can't even save for a house because they don't know how to have a target goal and build towards that. So when you have a target goal, that's when you have to start gaining the discipline of saying, I'm setting aside a certain amount every paycheck. So now you need a reason why you do something before you actually do it. And so when you have that goal of saying, I want to be able to buy a house by this day, now you have to figure out if I want to. So for our instance, our goal was to be able to afford to buy a house by, I think it was like July of 2018.
Yeah.
And we were starting back in February of 2018. So in order to do that, we needed like $10,000. So I think it's probably 5 months in between there. We need to be saving like $2,000 a month.
Pretty much.
So we need to be saving just about everything we're making.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, we were able to do that because of just our salaries that we had. We were able to put away a lot of money. Some people's timeline may be a little bit longer. Maybe you have a year timeline or 2 year timeline. But once you have the numerical amount that you need to get saved up, now you can be more intentional about how much are you putting away.
Yeah.
A fundamental principle is just putting away 10%, but we were putting away 60 to 70 or 80%,
right,
because we just wanted to expedite our timeline and we had goals in mind. But you don't have to start with something extreme. It can be something as little as 10%. In my sister's case, she could have just put away that $4, that $13 in that instance, but she got 40. If she had just put away $4 and continue to do that over time, it's going to build up. But you're going to never build anything up if you always spend all the way back down to zero.
Yeah. No, I think that's a revolutionary concept for a lot of people because most people intuitively do that. And I think everyone has a zero somewhere, right? And so that concept of like, what's your zero, right? I remember for me personally in like school and stuff, my zero was, I don't remember what it was, but it was generally like in high school and stuff, it was like $500.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, cool. If I have $500, then I'm good. But like
anything below that,
I'm like, sheesh, I'm broke.
Yes.
So it's like people be like, oh, you got money. It's like, no, I'm broke. I only got $550. I only got $50. So I might have $550, but I only got 50.
Right.
I got $550 in the bank, but I only got 50 in my mind.
That was huge.
So that is like big because, you know, you talk to people that are multimillionaires, and now you can extrapolate that same thing because their zero might be $1 million.
I can't be a millionaire if I have anything less than $1 million. So
right.
I can't give out if I want to remain a millionaire. You ask to borrow $1, and I only have $1 million to my name.
Then I'm not a millionaire.
I can't give you $1 million. I can't give you $1.
Exactly.
Because $1 million is my zero.
Yeah. And
that's just like extrapolated over a long term. You might think that they're lying, but they're like, I don't have any money to give. Yeah. If I give this, then I'm compromising my zero.
Yeah, and that's, I think most people need to have that foundational principle. That is like the foundational principle you need to have, because once you have that zero, that you always at least stay at that level. Like you will stay at that level when you have that zero. Like I promise you, if you say your zero is 1,000, you will not go below 1,000. If you say your zero is 10,000, you will not go below that. If you stay at 100, and your goal should always be to be raising that zero.
That was my other one.
Your goal is not to like, your zero should not be the same zero from college now that you got a full-time job.
Yep.
If your income goes up, then your zero needs to go up too. Like your zero, my zero now is a lot higher than it was, when we started
500 no more.
Right.
From college.
But I will say, because I'm not a saver and I'm an investor generally for the most part, my bank accounts are pretty trash. Like they stay fine. They stay pretty low. But my investments, like, those kinds of things, I don't touch my investments. Those are my zeros stay there.
Right.
I don't sit on cash. Like I literally only keep like $1,000 in the bank.
Yep.
Literally.
That's it.
Everything else stays like invested because you're just cooking yourself. I'd rather keep it in crypto where I'm getting fried right now because I know it's going to pay off in the long run. But I do not keep it. You don't just keep it sitting in the bank. That is not what we're saying.
Yeah, now I would say in the very beginning, that at least helps you understand the concept more, because I know in the very beginning of our journey, I would just anytime I'm paying myself, the way that you can see it happen as real as possible is moving money into a savings account. I did that with the intent of saying this is how I pay myself. Now, as you start maturing and as you understand that you can make your money work for you, now it's a whole different story about like making that money go like earn way more than what you're earning in the savings account. But the fundamental principle, I just need to be able to take money that I make from income and put some aside and say that this is for me growing in some area, whether it's investing wise, whether I'm building a business where I'm investing into a course. This money is not for spending on bills or miscellaneous. Yeah. And just understanding that fundamental concept is what most people are missing. That's why they're never able to like really give themselves a edge when it comes to like getting towards financial freedom. They never get that boost to get started. Like they're always trying to figure out how can I bring in more money. Well, sometimes you just need to save some more money, or like set aside the money that you're already bringing in, as opposed to trying to find more ways to make more money. Because the fundamental problem is not you not bringing enough money. The fundamental problem is that you're not saving or keeping enough of it.
Yeah, and if you had like it's really like, even if you were bringing in more money, you're just gonna be burning as much or more now, because now you don't have a strategy or a defense in place to actually preserve your capital, right? And I've heard it so much over the last, few months, especially just because of the different circles and environments I've been in terms of like how easy it is to make money. The tough thing is keeping it.
Yeah.
Right. Especially like when you're talking about certain investments and, you talk about the stock market, on all those kinds of things. It's like, it's easy to like make money. It's not easy, but like it's a lot easier to make money, but like keeping it and like especially with certain things, risk management, those kinds of things, it's a lot harder to preserve it, because now it requires more discipline and mental toughness. And now, because a lot of times things generally aren't like strategic, they're not strategic, they're just more mental. It's not your strategy might not, I mean most people's strategy is wrong too, but like for generally your strategy might not be the issue. It's more so your mental toughness and your discipline more so. Like you're not disciplined enough to be able to preserve your capital. Now a lot of people have a discipline and a strategy problem, because now you're trading your time for money and you're burning money.
Right.
So it's like you're never gonna get financial freedom. That's why most people are gonna work until they die. Like 90% of people probably now today that are working today will probably work until they die, just because inflation, all these kind of things that are just going on, 401ks, all these things, they're gonna be worth nothing by the time you're ready to retire. So you need to fix your strategy and you need to fix your defense. And so once you figure that out, that's when financial freedom actually becomes like a thing for you, and it becomes realistic, because now your strategy, you can bring in money and I can keep money. And all of these things are intertwined to be one working machine. Like all the kind of concepts we talk about, it's all one fundamental machine that like works for financial freedom and to keep you free from labor, trading in time for money. So,
and I think I love that it starts so early on, because if you give a poor person, I'm just gonna say poor in the sense of like mentality wise, not necessarily saying in their bank account wise, but if they have a poor mentality of like how to utilize money, it doesn't matter how much money you give them. That's why if you see people on the street and they ask for $1, that dollar's gonna be gone within the next couple of days. Probably within the next couple hours, next couple of minutes. It's not going to last long. It doesn't matter how much you really give them. They don't have a mentality of how to take that money and invest it to make where it's something that can grow.
Well, I mean, just to play devil's advocate, if they are homeless, I think they had to spend that.
That's fine. Understood. So I shouldn't even use that example. But either way,
yeah.
Let's say somebody hits the lottery.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, somebody hits the lottery, and they have no financial education on how to actually grow their money. So, like we always answer the question to the guests: would you rather have $1,000 a week for life or $1 million today? The guests that answer $1 million today answer that because they say, "I know how to use it to make more than $1,000 a week for life." It's almost a unanimous answer. That's what they always say. That's why they would take it. Most other people are going to take the $1 million. Like people that are not our guests, they're going to take the $1 million and just say, "Hey, bro, life is too short. I'm just about to go. I'm gonna see what I can buy now." That's called income creep. No matter how much money you're given, you're going to find a way to spend it. And that's the opposite of what we're trying to say with pay yourself first. It's almost like the opposite philosophy. Income creep is where as you make more money, you actually naturally spend more money. If you start off with a foundation of paying yourself first from the very beginning, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're always going to save a percentage of it. And so that's why if you can develop that philosophy, now even when you start to getting to bigger money, now you can implement that same strategy. That's why the strategy is so important. Once you have the strategy down, now you can operate at scale and still be effective. And now instead of your 10% being $4 like my sister, now your 10% can be 100,000 of that 1 million, to figure out how can, like I'm just saying, like in terms of paying yourself first. How can you utilize that to go grow something at that point?
100%. So yeah, man, that is like, I think a concept a lot of people have to really get, especially a lot of the newer people. I know, we get a lot of new listeners, people that are brand new to this stuff. And I really wanted to talk about something that could really help that person and really something they can implement today.
Right.
It's like, this is something anybody could do today. A lot of seasoned people need to do this too. Now, I would say just seasoned in age. Like, there's a lot of older people that are new too, and it's like, you didn't even know this was a thing. Oh, I'm supposed to put money away for me first? Didn't know that. So now you know. And it should be something you should implement starting today. And so yes, what we'll do now is transition into our next segment, which is going to be Ask the Monopolizers.
How can I be successful? How can I follow the path that someone else has laid for me to be successful?
Ask the Monopolizers.
So on Instagram, we got a question. I mean, who is this actually? Okay, got you. Got a question from a guy named Cheeksway. And he asks, what steps do you use when evaluating a business opportunity?
You can go first.
Man, I think we almost kind of hit on that last episode too. So when we're evaluating a business opportunity, first off, I think it's important to identify, does this business even align with your goal? Because I think it's always important to start off with, like, what is your end goal, and like, what do you have as like the end goal in mind? I think a good example that we talked about before was the concept of time freedom. Can this business give you time freedom? And I say that for the instance of, let's say you're doing a business that relies on your personal likeness versus a business that you can grow without your physical presence, or that can grow without your likeness to help it grow. So that's something that will, over the long run, not require your time commitment, because you can automate it. You can put other people in place. Think about McDonald's. You're not looking for Ray Kroc when you go into McDonald's. You're looking for just a great service. You're looking for adequate service. Just you want your food to come out in a reasonable way. Chick-fil-A, you're not looking for the creators of Chick-fil-A. You're looking for just great customer service and your food. So versus somebody who is actually doing who is running their brand, and all their sales are being generated based on their personal likeness. You're actually looking for that person to sell you this whatever that item may be. So that may be one factor as far as like determining what business to go into. Like, does it give you your goal of time freedom, financial freedom, or whatever? Also, like, there's really going to be a lot to do with experimenting, figuring out what you do and don't like about a business. Because like we mentioned before, sometimes you may not like the overhead that the business comes with. You may not like that you have to deal with customers all the time. You may not like how, like, the problems that are associated with one certain business over another one. So with all those in mind, you have to figure out what suits you best and what can you see yourself scaling. And also, I think the last one I would say, does this business meet a need that can be sustainable long term? At least for us, we're always thinking of long term. We're not just thinking something that can be like a quick money get, like a quick money grab or anything like that. We're always thinking, if I'm doing a business, I'm thinking long term. So can this business be something that's sustainable throughout the test of time? And that's kind of what I would look into to figure out, is it like what business opportunity to go into.
Yeah, I wouldn't even add nothing on that. He really hit on everything. So was there one more question, I think?
I don't think we got any more. And like, you want to ask one right
I think
here?
there was another one.
From that person.
Oh, Annalise said, how do I become rich? I would say for you probably got to marry rich.
Look in the DMs. I sent out your reply with that.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet. Marry a rich man. What did you say? You funny.
So, exactly.
Yeah. So that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna answer that.
That was sarcastic, by the way. That was just Annalisa. We've had her on as a guest on the podcast, so shout out to her.
No, that is all. That is my answer for all women.
Well, whatever.
Anyways. So yeah, what we'll do now is kind of get into. Well, there were some other questions from the past though. They were older.
Yeah,
but they were long. I'm not even gonna lie. So it would. Yo, one thing, if you send a question, don't send a paragraph.
Actually,
I mean, I get it, but like, just please be a little more concise. Which one is this?
I screenshot that one apparently, so that could be one too.
Oh, that's a good question.
Let's go into it.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question for the podcast.
Who was asking this?
Oh, shout out Ben Persinger. Ben Persinger, yeah. Shout out Ben. Hey, I wanted to ask a question for the podcast. As you are house hacking, how do you collect from the tenants? Do you have a property manager or do you take care of it yourself? Just some details about after the house is ready to rent. That's actually a good question because we talk a lot about actually getting the house hack or getting a property.
Like, how do I manage this?
Yeah, first I would say definitely go read the book on managing rental properties, and go read the book on house hacking by Craig Curlop. Yeah. Both good books. I think both will answer it much more in depth than what we can. But what I will say is, as far as tenant screening and those kinds of things, the most important thing, there's a criteria you need. My criteria is 600 credit score and no evictions and a good background, and then also a good reference check. Those four things will keep you from getting the worst headache tenant ever. I have never had a bad tenant because I let my property stay vacant before I rent to a fool. That's me personally, and I have lived that already. And so having a vacant property. So that's the first thing. Now that will make collecting rent a lot easier because you won't have to chase rent. Yeah. So people will go pay rent on their own. Oh, go figure. Right. So I used to use, well, now it's called apartments.com. That's how I collect my rent. And they essentially allow you to create a portal where you can upload your leases and upload, the tenant's info, and then they can sign the lease and they pay their rent directly through the portal on apartments.com. It's free to you. Yeah. And it's pretty straightforward. They pay their rent. You put all their bills in there. They can see all their bills. It's a great property management software for like someone with, a few units. If you have like multiple hundreds of units, that's obviously not what you use. But for like first time landlords, great software. So
I can't say that better than myself. Like I was literally going to talk all about apartments.com, and it's made my life very easy when it comes to collecting rent. Please don't be the person that's collecting rent by hand. Answer for cash. Make it automate start it off as a big business from the very beginning. Think automation out the get go rather than saying I'm gonna work my way up there. There's software is already out there for you to be able to streamline things. So take full advantage of it. Apartments.com is excellent for collecting rent payments for sure.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here because this camera is running out of space on the memory card. So we gonna wrap it up here, but this has been a fantastic episode. I would give my take. If I would say real quickly, my only take, might as well, whatever.
We gave you the game. You can
take it or leave it.
My only take would be really start paying yourself first, obviously, and start really having a personal assessment on, your personal finances and how you actually are with your finances, and start really to make sure you start allocating money to yourself. I would definitely recommend setting up multiple bank accounts as an actionable item, strategy. Go set up multiple bank accounts, have an income account for your personal self, have a personal savings account, and have a personal bills account. Anytime you get paid, it goes into your personal income, and then you set a portion from there. Should go directly to your savings before anything goes into your personal bills. That would be my actionable item step to take. So did you want to give anything or no?
Yeah, I mean,
same thing
along the same lines, but I would honestly say identify what is your goal first. Like, what is I would just say make a numerical goal for yourself. Say I want to make 10,000 by a certain amount. I want to have 10,000 in my account by a certain day, and then backtrack and figure out if I get paid every 2 weeks and I have 10 weeks within that time frame, that means I need to save 1,000 a week. Or now you can just change the numbers and say if I want to have 1,000 that I want to make within 10 weeks, I need to save 100 each and every week in order to get there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now you be able to backtrack. Now you just implement that strategy with that.
Cool. So yeah, that is it for this episode of the Money Monopolizers podcast. New episodes will be released every Thursday and will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Money Monopolizers wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we'd appreciate if you rated us 5 stars and left us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also find out more info about us on IG at Money Monopolizer or Twitter at The Monopolizer. We post informative content on there that'll keep you engaged, so be sure to check that out and share those posts. But until then, we're out of here.
You've been listening to the Money Monopolizers podcast, helping you take control of your financial destiny. To learn more about how you can be in control of your money, visit moneymonopolizers.com. We'll catch you next time when Alex and Marlon share more personal finance and wealth creation tips with you. Now it's time to take action.